During World War II, the ocean held secrets far darker than just enemy submarines. It swallowed entire ships, making them vanish from history as ghost fleets. These weren't just shipwrecks. These were vessels that simply ceased to exist, defying all logic and leaving behind a chilling maritime mystery. Prepare to uncover the unsettling truth behind these phantom vessels. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most baffling chapters of naval history. The phenomenon of ghost fleets. When we think of naval losses in World War II, we picture epic battles, torpedo strikes, and ships sinking beneath the waves. But what about the ships that were never found? The ones that disappeared without a distress call, without wreckage, without a single survivor to tell the tale. These are the ghost fleets. They weren't just recorded as sunk, they were recorded as missing, gone, erased from the map. The chaotic backdrop of a global war, weed heats, vast unpatrolled oceans, and primitive tracking technology created the perfect storm for these enigmas to be born. It's a reality far more unsettling than any battle account. How does a 10,000-ton steel behemoth, crewed by hundreds of sailors, simply vanish? To understand this phenomenon, we have to look at some of the most famous cases, some of which even predate the war but set a chilling precedent. Take the USS Cyclops. This massive U.S. Navy collier ship vanished in the Bermuda Triangle area in 1918 with over 300 souls on board. No wreckage, no distress call, nothing. It was as if it sailed through a tear in reality. The official Navy investigation concluded they had no clue what happened. This case became the blueprint for naval mysteries to come. Then came World War II, and the disappearances escalated. The German U-boat fleet, the terror of the Atlantic, also had its own phantom losses. We're not talking about U-boats sunk by Allied depth charges or destroyers. We're talking about dozens of submarines that departed on patrol and were never heard from again. Their fates completely unknown, even in meticulous German records. Were they victims of catastrophic mechanical failures deep beneath the waves? Did they encounter some unknown oceanic hazard, or something else entirely? The silence from these steel sharks is deafening. Perhaps one of the most staggering cases is that of the British escort carrier HMS Avenger. In November 1942, while part of a convoy, she was struck by a single torpedo from a German U-boat. What happened next is what fuels the mystery. The ship, loaded with aviation, fuel, and ammunition, reportedly exploded in a cataclysmic blast and sank in under 5 minutes. Out of a crew of over 500, only 12 survived. The speed and totality of its destruction were so absolute that it almost defies belief. The official report is brief, leaving massive room for speculation. Was it just a lucky hit, or was there a deeper structural vulnerability? The minimal explanation for such a massive loss of life and equipment only deepens the enigma. So, what could possibly explain these vanishes? We have to look beyond enemy action. The ocean itself is a formidable adversary. Rogue waves, sometimes called freak waves, are monstrous walls of water that can appear without warning and are more than capable of capsizing even the largest ships in an instant. Such an event would leave little to no time for a distress call. Then there's the possibility of sudden, catastrophic structural failure. In the rush of wartime production, where corners cut, did undiscovered design flaws lead to ships literally breaking apart under the immense stress of the high seas? Some theories even point to accidental scuttling, where a miscalculation or panicked decision led a crew to sink their own ship, leaving no record behind. We also can't discount the human element. The psychological strain on sailors during World War II was immense. Could a mutiny have occurred, with the crew taking the ship and sailing it to a neutral port to live out the war in secret? It sounds like fiction, but stranger things have happened. Or what about a collective psychological breakdown, leading to a series of fatal errors? While less likely, the sheer pressure and terror of submarine warfare could push any crew to its breaking point. These are uncomfortable possibilities, but they must be considered when all other explanations fail. And of course, we can't talk about unexplained disappearances at sea without touching on the more speculative theories. The Bermuda Triangle, where the USS Cyclops was last seen, has a long history of supposedly swallowing ships and planes. While mainstream science dismisses the idea of a paranormal vortex, the sheer number of incidents in that region keeps the legend alive. Could there be unknown natural phenomena at play, like massive releases of methane gas from the seabed that could suddenly reduce the water's density and swallow a ship whole? These are fringe ideas, but when you're faced with a complete void of evidence, Every theory, no matter how wild, gets a moment in the spotlight. For decades, these mysteries remained locked away in dusty archives in the ocean's abyss. But today, modern technology is finally shedding new light on these cold cases. Advanced side-scan sonar in deep sea, remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, are mapping the seafloor with incredible precision. Wrecks that have been lost for 80 years are now being discovered. The wreck of the USS Indianapolis, for example, was found in 2017 at a depth of 18,000 feet. Each discovery helps piece together the final moments of a long-lost vessel, sometimes confirming official records, and other times rewriting them completely. Alongside this underwater archaeology, historians are re-examining wartime records with fresh eyes. Declassified documents, personal diaries, and cross-referenced Allied and Axis logs can reveal new clues. A faded entry in a U-boat captain's log might correspond to a missing Allied ship's last known position, solving a mystery from the other side of the conflict. This meticulous detective work is just as important as the high-tech submersibles. It proves that there are still secrets to be found, not just in the deep, but on paper. The search is far from over. We are living in an era where the answers to these 80-year-old questions might surface at any moment, reminding us that history is a living, breathing thing that can change with each new discovery. The legacy of these ghost fleets is profound. For Naval Command during the war, these disappearances were a source of constant anxiety. The inability to confirm a ship's fate meant you didn't know if your tactics were failing, if the enemy had a new secret weapon, or if your own ships were simply not up to the task. This uncertainty had a tangible impact on strategy and, more importantly, on the morale of the crews who had to sail into the same mysterious waters. Every sailor knew that their ship could be next, to simply sail over the horizon and never return. Even today, the allure of these ghost ships endures. They represent the ultimate mystery, a final frontier in a world we think we have fully mapped and understood. They are a powerful and humbling reminder that, despite all our technology, the ocean remains the planet's greatest wilderness. It still holds the power to conceal, to guard its secrets with crushing pressure and eternal darkness. The search for answers continues, driven by a duty to honor the lost and a human need to solve the unsolvable. These ships are more than just historical footnotes. They are monuments to the thousands of souls who remain on eternal patrol, their stories waiting to be told. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into one of history's most chilling maritime mysteries. What do you think happened to these vanished vessels? Let us know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. Until next time, stay curious.